Next speaker needs no introduction, but we talked a little bit today and shown you some insight into the studio, the collaborative nature of what we do in here in the studio. And for us, it's as a product development team, it's really that engineering and design relationship. Talked a little bit with Jim about that interaction we have with sales and marketing and how important having a good partnership with your marketing team is and successful delivery of the product. And as Jim just talked about, it's so much more than just the product experience relative to what we want to do with Lincoln. But the other key is to have a business unit leader that gets it. And I've been fortunate enough to have worked for Mark for a pretty long period of time, and to have a business unit leader that gets those components, gets the overall business, gets what you're trying to do, and has faith in you to let you go do that, because it's tough to go ask for $1 billion to go fulfill your dreams. And it's great to have a leader like Mark that has that faith in you. So again, a great partner to work with. Let me introduce Mark Fields.
We have a lot of faith in him because we gave him $1 billion. Well, good afternoon. First off, I'm really impressed because the Detroit game is going on right now, and you're still here. And I just checked my smartphone. It's 1-0 Detroit at the bottom of the third. So that's great news. Well, hopefully you had a good day in terms, or a good afternoon in terms of getting a chance to meet a number of our team members who are very, very dedicated to taking Lincoln higher and higher. And also, I hope you had a chance to get to spend some time not only looking at the products, but again, talking to our team and understanding our vision in terms of where we want to take the brand and where we want to take the brand over a number of years. Because we realize very clearly that to bring Lincoln back to a truly premier luxury brand, it doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen in a couple of years' time. It happens literally over years and years, and a singular dedication to making it happen, and a consistency of purpose. Now today's at least from my perspective, it's a really rewarding day. You know, we get a chance, as we've gone through our transformation, we've had instances where we've had to close facilities. Lately, we've had the opportunity to go to plants to talk about rebuilding those plants, adding shifts. We just had an event in September, early September, where we had a great event down in our plant in Flat Rock, where we unveiled the name, the Flat Rock Assembly Plant. We had a chance to celebrate with the team for the new product, the new Fusion that's coming there next year. Those are really happy events, and they're really precious. But what's even more precious, in my 23 plus years in the industry, I have never actually opened a design center. And that's why, for all of us, I think this is a very special day for us. Because this really marks, this is another proof point or evidence to all of us that this is a real commitment on the part of all of us and a part of the company. So it's a first for me, a first for a lot of other folks, and we couldn't be more happy to have you here sharing that with us. So when you look at what we're doing with Lincoln, as you've heard, it's about transformation, it's about reinvention of the Lincoln brand. And if you know the story at Ford, right? We did have luxury brands before, great luxury brands. We divested them. We found great buyers for those brands. And that's allowed us, as a management team, to focus on Ford and Lincoln. And it's a wonderful thing when we walk in the door, and all the men and women of Ford walk in the door every day, that is their singular focus. And it provides a lot of clarity around the many things that everybody has to do each day. And every one of us, Raj, Jim, the rest of the management team, we really understand that a luxury brand is essential for us to be a global and successful enterprise. We all understand that. There's a head and a heart to this, and we get the head piece of it. We also get the heart piece of it. And if you think about it, there's not a single full-line successful global automotive maker that doesn't have a successful and vibrant and relevant luxury brand. And we all understand that. Now, when you look at luxury brands from a consumer standpoint, they look up to it. It's aspirational and inspirational, but it's also a growth opportunity as well. I just want to share a couple of factoids with you, which I've read about over the past couple of months. There are a couple of studies that came out recently. One just came out last week from Bain, and it was a study on the global luxury goods market. So it includes, fashion, jewelry, cars, things of that nature. And they expect the market to grow 10% this year globally to a whopping $274 billion. Billion. And that's the third year of growth in this, after coming off, as you know, a very severe recession, and that recession has been, that recovery has been very moderate, but it's the third year of growth. And Bain also expects, when you look at the luxury global market, they expect that to grow 4% this year, despite all the things we're seeing in places like Europe with a down market, various other markets up or down. That's pretty large growth. So there's a great business opportunity for this. That's the head part of this. There's a great business opportunity for us. And then IHS, which I'm sure you're all familiar with, the forecasting organization, they looked at the global premium automotive market, and their expectations, or their forecast, is in 2013, the premium auto market is going to grow about 7.5% around the world. And that's versus the general market, which their forecast is to grow around 4.5%. So almost double they expect it to grow. And this is a really impactful forecast. They said in the next 5 years, they expect the premium market will basically take about another percentage point of the total vehicle market, the total of the industry. That's about 2.5 million vehicles over the next 5 years, on top of the volume that's sold today. So it's a growth market, and it's very exciting. It's very exciting when you take that lens and you just focus it here in the U.S. These days the luxury market takes about 12% of the total industry, give or take. In any given month, it might be a little higher. Another given month, it might be a bit lower, but it's about 12%. And that's up significantly from 7-8 years ago, where it was in the 8% range. But the high-end buyers are doing a lot of the spending, and they're kind of shaping the economic equation for consumer consumption these days. And according to another study, I think this one was done by one of the economic consulting firms, and they reckon that the top 5% of income earners basically are responsible for about 1/3 of consumer spending. Think about that. That's a lot of dough. And the top 20% of income earners basically take up 60% of consumer spending. So it's a big opportunity. It's a big growth opportunity. And I think we have a wonderful position, a wonderful opportunity for Lincoln. And you heard from Jim on what that opportunity is. And the key is, how do you take advantage of that opportunity? By being different, but being relevant to the customers that you want to go after. And we're on a journey, and I think we've talked about being on a journey. And we have some challenges in this journey, right? We're not the biggest, but what we're trying to do is, how do we take that fact and turn it to our advantage, and use our size, which is not the biggest, to focus that on personal experience for the consumer. Because these folks they're staying in Four Seasons hotels, they're shopping at Nordstrom's, they're used to being treated in a certain way. And we want to provide that consistent experience for them when they're not just buying a $2,000 suit, but they're buying a $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 automobile. And we think we have a lot of opportunity for that. And we've made an unprecedented, we talked about the commitment on the company's part. We've made an unprecedented amount of investment. We've talked about the products that are coming over the next 4 years. We talked about the dedicated team. talk about a dedicated design facility where modelers and designers and engineers can work closely together and focus on luxury every single day they walk through the door. And when you step back, I think from our standpoint, from a management standpoint, you could say it's a pretty daunting task, what we want to do. But we faced the same daunting task 5, 6 years ago with the Ford brand. And the only thing I would propose to you is that same passion, that same desire for success, that same hunger lives in all of us in terms of what we want to do with Lincoln. And we know it isn't instant pudding. It happens over consistency, over time, and I think myself and my fellow colleagues, we share that. We share that vision of where we want to take Lincoln, and we have a great team that, you know, we've brought some team members on from within the company, but also from other luxury brands, and they eat, sleep, and drink every single day. Where do we want to take Lincoln? What does it take to succeed? How do we be different? How do we be relevant? And how do we satisfy those customers? And, you know, we got some great products coming. Of course, you expect me to say that. But hopefully you've had a chance to look at the Z, and hopefully that gets your pulse going. And that's just a little inkling in terms of where we want to take Lincoln. And the details that the team sweats in this room, and when we do those design reviews, and when Jim does his marketing reviews and go-to-market strategies, and when the manufacturing team gets together and understands, okay, at the end of the line, how do we make sure we have not 1, but 2 and 3 quality checks to make sure that when that vehicle arrives, you get that magic moment when that consumer gets the key for the first time, gets in the car, smells that new car smell, and a big smile comes across their face, and they can't get it off as they're driving their way home. That's what we're aiming to do. So we're going to tell you more and more as we unfold the journey of Lincoln, and hopefully you'll come along with us. We'll have more news to share with you as we go along. And I just want to thank you for taking your afternoon with us. Hopefully you found it useful. And I know you have a great panel afterwards. And the panel's important because we have experts from fashion, from architecture, from industrial design. And it's important as a car company and as a luxury brand, just keep your eyes and ears open and take input from wherever it comes from and learn something. There's gems in everything in terms of being able to take different viewpoints and understand how does that apply to the automotive luxury market and how can we apply it uniquely at Lincoln. So with that, I want to thank you, and I'll turn it back over to Tom, who will introduce